So Carly, one of the things that comes up a lot with our clients is reviews.
Yeah.
How do I get better reviews? What are different programs that I can enroll in reviews? Reviews are very important to Amazon, obviously. So can you talk a little bit about different programs and different approaches on improving reviews, increasing reviews, etc. on Amazon?
Sure, absolutely. So there's a couple different options for both 1P and 3P. 1P usually defaults to the Vine program. So you pay a fee per ASIN, and what they do is they send this ASIN off as a sample, and they will have almost like hyper reviewers that will go into detail. It won't be biased, but they'll say, the cost of the product, is this equivalent to the quality of the product I received? Does the detail page correctly describe it? So really in-depth review, which is very helpful once you start getting those reviews. On the other side, in the 3P realm, we have the early reviewer program, which is you basically will incentivize customers to leave a review in exchange for usually about a $5 Amazon gift card. So you can enroll these ASINs within this program to try to incentivize the customers to leave those reviews. The other option on the 3P side that's also free is the buyer-seller messaging. I feel like this is relatively underutilized. So you can actually create a template within your Seller Central about an ASIN specific and send it out to the customers once they purchase the product. Really good example that I've seen previously was for Moscow Mules cups. So they actually would send out the Moscow Mule recipe in the follow-up and just give a little bit more interaction with the customer, try to engage them. So there's a lot of creative ways to do that in terms of those programs, and it's definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, and I think just a couple of follow-up questions and some comments from my end. So reviews are gold in Amazon, we know that, and one of the biggest things is monitoring and reviews as they come in, and then being able to respond to reviews. So what are some opportunities for a brand or a 3P seller to respond to or engage with their client when a review comes in that might not be a positive review?
Sure. And one thing I just want to point out too is while reviews are gold, what I see is a lot of sellers and vendors alike will really focus in on that one negative review versus boosting those positive reviews. Sometimes based on Amazon's policy, it's really difficult to get those negative reviews down, and they do have strict guidelines for customer trust. But as you mentioned, responding to those reviews in a public forum, going into that Q&A and responding when customers have questions. And then the other thing too is once you're receiving these negative reviews, think, how can I change my detail page to reflect what this customer is experiencing? Sometimes it's just including a little bit more detail so customers know up front.
That makes sense. And I think on that exact point, I think it goes back to the product detail page is very much a place where you speak to your consumer.
Absolutely.
And the content is important. So really treating that product detail page is not necessarily a static page. Really look at ongoing optimization. And I think you brought up a good point about reviews. I know we've talked before in previous videos about the need for strong content and optimization, but that's a very good point. As far as the reviews go, is there anything else worth commenting around, like the validity of reviews, or like how do we know if reviews are trustworthy versus reviews that people maybe just adding like fake reviews?
And that's a really good question, and I see that get brought up quite a bit as well. Obviously the verified purchase tag is an indicator, but the thing is, Amazon wants the best customer experience, and they're going to have systems in place eventually to be able to combat this a little bit better. And so I always say, just stick to what the guidelines are, and in the long run, it'll work out.